Hey everyone, welcome to what I'm calling kind of phase 3 of our FLL Explore season. The first part of our season, or the first phase, was when we were kind of building the stage. We were talking a lot about how technology and art go together. We built the stage, it had lights and sound, that was our technology piece. The stage had some movement, this was a mechanical piece. We had our skateboard park. We talked about how the skateboard park was a hobby and how that kind of connects with arts. And each of the kids probably shared their own examples of their own hobbies and their own arts and their own things that they explore. And so the first part was really exploring how technology and arts go together, talking about arts, and kind of getting the kids exposed to what the challenge really was. The last few weeks we've been working on some more programming builds. So we've built those pre-built objects from the iPads, and we programmed them, and during this time we were learning about programming and how the motors and the sensors work. So we learned about the motors, we learned about how they can go different directions and different speeds, and we built the kind of house thing that had a sensor and it had lights, and we learned how to manipulate those lights and how the sensor worked with those lights. So in our third phase, which is kind of where we're at now, we start to put these things together. And so the kids are going to be starting to challenge, not with doing some pre-built stuff, but really starting to come up with some ideas of their own. Now, some of you may not have built that third item yet out of the kit. That's okay. I haven't either with my team. I'm going to do that this coming week. And then right after that, we're going to motorize the stage. So we're going to use that third direction in the book and connect the motors to the stage and see how the stage gets motorized. And all that's to come this week and maybe next week, so the next 2 weeks that we have. With the final 3 weeks of the season, those kind of last weeks in April, the kids are going to be challenged with putting together a display and then some builds of their own creative builds and their own display. Now on the display, you're going to hopefully see things like the core values represented, maybe not all 6, but the kids are going to come up with some ideas about how they use the core values in their time. There should be some pictures, either some illustrations that they draw or some pictures that you took, and if you want me to print some, just send them to me. I can print some pictures for you. And then ideally the kids will write something that describes those pictures so that the display makes sense to someone that's looking at it. Now, these are first graders and second graders. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be spelled perfect. The pictures are going to be their own drawings, but the more the kids do, the better off this is going to be. So don't worry that it's not going to be perfect. Let the kids shine. It should be with your guidance as a coach, kind of reminding them about keeping it to our theme, but at the same time, let the kids have some freedom here and let them have some fun with it and let them make the design what they want to make it. So you can kind of see a picture of a board here. You can see where there's some core values represented. You can see where there's some illustrations about what they did and some words that describe how their season went. We call this board the display of learning. So it's what they've learned or what they think they've learned through the course of the season. Again, as a coach, you have some say in this, you have some input and some guidance as far as how this works. And then underneath that display is their build. And you can see on this build, they've got their pre-built item, which this year is the stage. Last year it was the windmill. The stage will be powered, so all of that's going to be pre-built. It's going to be powered the way it was built in the guide. But you are welcome as a team to adjust the programming to make it work the way you think you want it to work. It could have a sensor built in. It could have speed and direction taken care of. It could be, the kids have some programming freedom there about how they want that program to run. And then they should have some builds of their own. Now, this can go a couple of different ways. You can have just each kid build something and add to it. You could have some team builds. You can talk about, as a team, what you want in your park and in your area. But the key is all of these builds should connect with our theme of art and technology and how those two things work together. You could just build one giant skateboard park. You could build a museum. You could build, I don't know. It's up to you and your kids what you want to design. Now, within this design, you can add another motorized piece if you wish, if your kids want to do something like that. And that's why you have 2 kits. Each team has 2 kits. I've said all along these kits need to stay intact. Well, the exception to that is the robot, is the brain and the motors and sensors. Okay? These things can be taken out of the kits for your final build. And that's why you have two, because one of these motors and brains is going to be used to power the stage. And and you can add the sensor to that or whatever you want. But you have a second kit with a second brain, second set of motors, second set of sensors. This can be used to motorize and program an additional piece on your board. This is not a requirement, but it is encouraged, okay, if the kids want to give it a try. So it's up to you and the kids how you want to approach that. Keep in mind, May 4th is going to be our expo. This is when the kids are presenting. There does not need to be any sort of rehearsed skit for this. The goal of this is to have fun. It's to get the kids some exposure talking to the judges. We want to let the creativity of the kids shine. We want to let the kids shine. As a coach, you're not going to say a whole lot. You're going to let the kids share whatever they want to share, even if it's not 100% what you want them to share. You're going to let them do that. And remember, all the teams are going to win an award here. This isn't about it. This isn't a huge competition. Really, the goal is just to get the kids exposed to this kind of environment, this kind of competition environment, talking to the judges, and getting them used to feeling that, so that when they move up to the FLL challenge level, when it is a competition and there are awards on the line, the kids have kind of experienced all of that before. Have fun these last few weeks. I'll try to be around to the teams at least once before May 4th, probably twice before May 4th. I'll see all of you. I'll be asking about questions. A quick reminder, as a coach, you should not be spending any money on supplies. If there's something you need, let me know. I will, especially if there's like an Amazon link to it, I can go ahead and purchase that with robotics funds. In the back, there are trifold boards that we're going to be able to use. I'll have those readily available so you guys can see where those are. And we'll put all that together. So if you have any questions, if something comes up, if you're wondering how all this works, please don't hesitate to connect with me either by email, text, or phone call, so that we can make sure that everybody's feeling comfortable as we get through these last few weeks and we get these kids ready to perform. We'll be in touch. Have an awesome last few weeks, and I'll see you soon.